Good morning, listeners of Hot Topic and Fresh News. Today is December 6th, 2023, and we have some pressing news from the Middle East. The ongoing conflict between Israelis and Palestinians is escalating with increased settler violence in the West Bank. The small Palestinian village of Kirbet Zenuta has been devastated, its school bulldozed and houses destroyed. The settlers, believed to be disregarding the law with the support of the police and army, are demolishing Palestinian villages and harassing local farmers. This violence has intensified since the start of the war in Gaza on October 7th. The United States and the United Kingdom have condemned this violence and called for the prosecution of those responsible. However, settler accountability remains a contentious issue, given their powerful allies in the Israeli government. In news from the farming front, threats from settlers have forced Palestinian farmers to resort to traditional methods of plowing with donkeys. Harvesting has also been affected, with settlers allegedly stopping Palestinians for security reasons. This ongoing land conflict has resulted in violence, displacement, and the confiscation of Palestinian property since the establishment of Israel in 1948. These developments confirm Palestinians' fears of a powerful Israeli government and settler movement intent on pushing them out of the West Bank. Stay tuned to Hot Topic and Fresh News as we delve deeper into these events later in the show. Hello! I'm your host, Emily Norma, bringing you the latest and most critical news stories from around the globe on Hot Topic and Fresh News. Every morning, we're here to dissect and analyze the day's hottest topics. And to make this possible, I'm joined by my very capable co-host, David, whose insights into the world of politics and current affairs are second to none.
Thanks for the introduction, Emily. It's always a pleasure to be here and help our listeners understand the complexities of the world around us.
Absolutely, David. And, dear listeners, if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please hit that subscribe button now. By enabling notifications, you'll never miss a beat with us. We also encourage you to leave your comments and share our podcast with your friends and family. Your support is what keeps us going.
And we really do value your input. So, don't hesitate to share your thoughts.
Now, let's dive into our main story for today. It's a headline that has left me rather disturbed, and I'm willing to bet it will have the same effect on you. Israeli settler violence escalates in the West Bank. This is a critical issue that not only impacts the people directly involved, the Israelis and Palestinians, but has ripple effects across our global community.
Indeed, Emily. It's a stark reminder of how interconnected our world really is.
Right, David. So, hold tight, listeners, because you won't believe what we're about to disclose. Stay tuned to Hot Topic and Fresh News, because it's all hot off the press.
What's the latest situation on the ground, following the destruction in Kirbet Zenuta?
The situation is dire. Most of the village, including the school, has been flattened, and the villagers have fled due to ongoing threats from aggressive Jewish settlers living in nearby illegal outposts.
What's the reaction from international donors who funded the school?
It's a mix of shock and frustration, as these organizations invested heavily in humanitarian support for Palestinians at risk of forcible transfer in the West Bank. The European Union and several other European agencies, along with the British Consulate General in Jerusalem, were key donors to the project.
And how are local activists responding to this case?
There's a lot of outrage. Activists like Nadav Wyman, a former Israeli Special Forces soldier, are vocally condemning the occupation and the escalating violence against Palestinians. They're calling out the settlers for flouting the law with the support of the police and army.
But don't you think it's important to consider both sides of the conflict? While it's clear that these actions are causing harm to Palestinians, could there be valid security concerns driving these settler actions?
I understand where you're coming from, and it's true that there are often multiple perspectives in any conflict. However, it's difficult to reconcile these actions with security concerns, considering the aggressive nature of the settlers and the systemic disregard for Palestinian rights.
Indeed, it's a complex issue. It's all right to disagree, but it's essential to keep an open mind and consider all aspects when analyzing news like this.
I agree. While I don't fully subscribe to your viewpoint, I'll certainly continue to think about this topic and further expand my understanding.
Can you shed some light on the international response to these attacks?
The international response has been strong, especially from Israel's closest allies, the United States and the United Kingdom. Both have condemned the violence perpetrated by extremist settlers and are demanding proper prosecution for those guilty.
Are these demands being met?
Unfortunately, in practice, settlers rarely face court, and if they do, they often receive lenient sentences. They are armed and backed by influential allies within the Israeli government.
You mentioned government support. How deep does this go?
It's significant. The Minister for National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and the Finance Minister, Bezalel Smotrich, who also oversees security responsibilities in the West Bank, are notable supporters. Smotrich even allocated substantial funds for the settlers most recently.
What about the Palestinians living in these areas?
The Palestinians are under constant threat. A recent incident involved a family of Bedouins near Jericho, whose home was invaded by about 20 armed Jewish men. The family managed to capture footage of the incident, including threats and weapon pointing. They were falsely accused of stealing goats by the settlers, who were apparently from a nearby illegal outpost.
What other forms does this harassment take?
It's not only physical. There's an economic and psychological aspect to this harassment. Palestinians live under a constant state of fear, knowing that these attacks can happen at any time. This situation severely impacts their mental well-being and their ability to lead normal lives.
What's the situation for farmers in the region?
Farmers, particularly Palestinian farmers, are finding it increasingly difficult to carry out their work. For instance, in the area south of Hebron, they're forced to plow with donkeys because of threats from Jewish settlers to steal or damage their tractors.
How are these threats impacting their livelihood?
The impact is substantial. In Buren, a village outside Nablus, one farmer hasn't been able to harvest his olives due to threats from local settlers. The repercussion is not just economic, but also psychological, leading to feelings of powerlessness and humiliation.
What's the settlers' perspective on this?
A settler leader, Yehuda Simon, agrees with the restrictions on Palestinians harvesting olives. He asserts that these farmers might gather information for potential attacks. However, he denies the numerous documented reports of settlers attacking Palestinians.
Has this conflict affected the broader relations between Arabs and Jews?
Absolutely. There's been a struggle over this land for over a century. The recent war in Gaza has only heightened the violence in the West Bank, adding more tension to an already volatile situation.
Is there a connection between the current situation and historical events?
Absolutely. The ongoing conflict conjures up memories of 1948 for Palestinians. That year, while Israel was securing its independence, over 700,000 Palestinians were either forced out or fled from their homes. These homes and properties were then taken over by the new State of Israel, and these Palestinians were never allowed to return.
What's the significance of this historical context?
Palestinians refer to the events of 1948 as the Nakba or catastrophe. The current violence from settlers and the loss of homes echo the events of the Nakba, reinforcing for Palestinians their fears that influential forces within the Israeli government and the settler movement want them out.
Does this have implications for the future?
Yes, the manner in which this conflict resolves will have a profound impact on whether the next generation can escape this cyclical conflict. The larger crisis, including the recent war in Gaza, seems to be used as an opportunity to push this agenda. It's a complex situation that requires careful examination and resolution. Thanks for joining us today on Hot Topic and Fresh News. We dove deep into the current tensions in the West Bank, and it's been wonderful to have you all here. We'd be thrilled if you could subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss any future episodes. Your support means everything to us. Spread the word about our channel with your friends, family, or any news enthusiasts you know. If you enjoyed the episode, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
And remember folks, we're keeping the lights on here every day for you. Remember, there's always something fascinating around the corner.
We're both grateful for your time and we're looking forward to the next episode. Thank you for being a part of our journey.
And in the words that we love to say, stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news, our channel's content will amuse. See you all next time.